All right, we're back. We kind of took a week off, guys, just because, well, sometimes we run out of shit to talk about. We do have a guest with us today. We'll get to him. But first off, if you go to our Facebook page, John Law posted on there. He's got a whole list of shoots. I'm going to read just what's coming up. Would be the weekend of June 3rd and 4th. So the big one, a lot of the Iowa guys are going to, Rodger and Roland are going to, would be London, Kentucky. We'll get into London here after a bit. That's an ASA shoot, Pro-Am. Dubuque has a shoot. Raccoon Ridge and Stewart has a shoot. Blackhawk Archers has a shoot. Like I said, I'm just kind of scrolling through here, guys. But what else do we have? That'd be about. That's all there for that. So, as of right now, ASA wise for the state of Iowa, we are at the halfway point. So we're halfway through. This is where, and for us, this is the good part. All of our other shoots now we go north.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we got one going east yet, but that's Iowa City. I mean, it's
not that far.
Actually, we have two to go east. Our state shoots in Oskaloosa, but the rest of the qualifiers, really we all go north. So, but we got Rodger Wilson with us here today.
Mm-hmm.
He shot here since God created bows.
Just about.
So we'll get in a. Well, we'll start with Rodger. Well, right. So as of right now, Roland and Rodger, the national wise, they're sitting second for shooter of the year.
Yep. And we're both losers, but trying to be winners.
But really, seconds.
Yeah.
It's a very respectable spot.
No doubt.
For especially, well, what class are you shooting, Rodger?
I shoot senior master.
Which is
70 and above.
That's damn good.
Yep.
To be out there still shooting at 70 and above.
Yep.
I don't, But
I've been there 7 years.
Wow. That's it. So how long have you been shooting then?
I've been shooting about 63, 64 years.
Really?
Somewhere along that. I started with a Lemonwood longbow. My dad had them when he was hunting back in the 40s. And graduated to recurve. And I shot for bear for a while. I shot their takedowns. And then when they first came out with the compound, I went to that. And that was the first compound. I won't say the first one because I shot some Allens. My dad bought some Allens for hunting, and so I did hunt a year or so with Allens.
So
nice.
Did you shoot target right away, or is it basically hunting when you first started?
No. After the first hunting season, my dad said, we got to, find something to do, keep our eye sharp for the hunting. That was the idea behind it. So we joined a local club. We started shooting leagues. That graduated into shooting states or regionals, which was the whole lower half of Michigan and the Lower Peninsula. And from there, went to state, and a few years later, went to nationals.
So was it 3D then, or was it?
Nope, it was
different?
all target then. It was
all target.
Yep. Back then, there was really no 3D. When we shot animal targets in the NFAA, they were hanging on wires, and you shot through the paper, and then you had to mark where the arrow went through with lipstick. So the next guy would know whether or not you went through the same hole or near it. So that's how we shot animal targets. The rest of them were shot on bales.
Why did they do that with the animal targets?
The animal targets, a lot of them, you could shoot broadheads back then. That was sort of a spin-off. Most of the time was on bales, and there you just shoot just like they do today. You shoot a target that's got to have your scoring rings, and do that. But that was sort of our first 3D, was shooting through a paper, hanging by wires into a sandbank behind. That was our first 3Ds, and that didn't happen until my first experience was in the mid to late 70s. When I moved to Arkansas, that was everything. You shot into sandbanks on everything, and you shot broadheads. You had to shoot broadheads.
Really?
Yep. All of the 3Ds were broadheads, and you shot into sandbanks.
So you said you've been shooting 63 years or 60 something?
I started when I was, I'll be longer than that because I started when I was 14, so it'll be 63 years ago.
Okay, and then I don't remember exactly what the year is that the compound bows have been in. But so were
65, I believe.
So you
Alan
were
had the patent, I think, in 65.
So you were around before the
Compound.
invention, yeah.
Yes. Like I said, I started with a longbow, and then didn't go hunting with it, but I went to a glass recurve. It was Herder's world famous.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so now you've gotten to see the whole evolution of like the very beginning of compound bows to now whatever we got.
Yeah. I shot an Allen bow compound, one of the first ones off, that's older than the one that Mark has back here hanging on the wall.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was all fingers too.
Yes. Back then it was all fingers. I didn't go to release until like 78, 77, 78. So
wow.
I've been shooting for, 10, 12 years before we went to release aids. And some of those release aids are crazy. We had the rope spike.
Was that the one where they actually went around the string with the string and back into the release?
The rope spike was a bent nail, basically, and you looped a loop that was hanging onto the release. You looped it around the string and over that bent nail, and then you pulled it back, trying to put pressure on it to keep it on the nail. And then as you rotated your hand, it slipped off the nail.
So it was like the first hinge, basically.
Super to a degree, it was a first hinge type there. It was one of those things that if you got it right on the end, you couldn't let it down because you started to let it down. As soon as you took pressure off, it would fire. 6 gold and a ledge, basically the same thing. A 6 gold was just wrapped around your finger and had a ledge on it. The other one, a ledge, was like a T-handle, and it built into a ledge. So when you had it in sort of an up angle, it would hang onto the string, and then as you rotated it, it would taper off the ledge and slide off it and fire. So that was the first ones we went to, and then the one I used for a long time was a hot shot. And I shot that. In fact, I still use it for hunting.
Really?
Yeah. So we're talking something that's, 50 years, 45 something like that years old.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I still shoot it. Yeah, I tore them apart because they were just snag ground on the shear, and I tore them apart and put them in a surface grinder and ground the surfaces square, and then put them back together. And like I say, I'm still shooting one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can't do that now.
No, no,
Probably not.
No, that's for sure.
Well, you've seen all aspects of it. I mean, even from the target side, from what it was to what it is now.
Yeah.
And the different things you shoot.
Yep. Well, back when I first turned pro in Michigan in the late 70s, there were 50 male pros and almost the same number women pros in Michigan. And that was, we had almost as many in Michigan as we had in the whole nation.
Really?
Pros. Yep. And it was a fun struggle. I had shot a lot of fun times with the guys in Michigan.
Yeah. Well, it all starts with hunting, though.
It started at hunting. I still hunt.
So.
It's one of those things. Somebody asked me, said, "Well, would you give up hunting or shooting target?" And I looked at him. I said, "Real hard." I said, "I have to give up hunting because target I can do all year round."
Yeah.
Yeah. Hunting is hard to do unless you do a lot of long distance traveling.
So when did you start shooting the 3D a lot harder? Or did you kind of do it on and off all the way up?
I had a friend, Cale Wooten, that tried to drag me to a lot of 3Ds. I went to a 3D in Aurora, Illinois, and I still have an arrow floating down the river. I just went into Nebraska, shot an IBO over there, and I just cannot judge distance. And I said, "No, this is not for me." And so I got out. I stopped shooting 3Ds. Tommy Thompson here 2 years ago says, "ASA is here in the state. It's known distances. You need to come shoot." And so I went and shot one time with Tommy that year. And then the club I joined to keep my hand in it in Florida, when we're in Florida in the winter months, they have a 15 target ASA setup. So when it's too windy to shoot out in the field, I go back in the woods and shoot the ASAs. And I start shooting into that. Well, I shot 4 of those down in Florida this year, qualifiers, and I won 3 of them. And they were trying to collect up money to send me back to Michigan or Iowa, whichever. And then I decided, well, I'm going to shoot some pro-ams. I shot a pro-am last year once with Roland.
Mm-hmm.
We drove down to Metropolis, and we had a good time. I found out that you have to have the safety at my age on release, because I tried to let down once and it wasn't a good thing. And the second day, I bought a new release and I shot it, and I had the second highest score that day. Of course, after the first day, it didn't help much, but I liked it. And so shooting down in Florida, shot the one. I've been to the 3 of them this year so far.
As you met us over in Foley.
Yep.
When we all went down there.
Yeah, because I was in Florida at the time, and I came over. It was only a 4-hour trip for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got second at 2 of them this year. And
Yeah,
where'd
that
you
was
get
one
the
of
other
them.
one.
That was one of them. Then we went to Fort Benning. That one, I tried to get smart and overtune my bow, and I had some arrows not go where I wanted them to, and that cost me. I ended up 9th, I think, in Benning, and then back to Minden here just a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, I guess now, and got second there again, and a good second. I mean, I was still 10, 12 points out of first. Jack Elliott just shoots out of his gourd. So I had a hard time trying to catch him. But I was still like 13 ahead of third place. So
That's pretty respectable.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
yeah, I felt good about it. I mean, I'm shooting good. I've changed a little bit from Metropolis. I shot a 6-power there. This year I've been shooting an 8-power scope. And it seems to be just letting me see the targets a little better.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a few more 12s.
So are you ready for London with the dark and the light and the dark and the light?
Well,
You might luck out and not have to shoot power lines.
well, here's the situation there. I got a brand new bow 2 days ago. So I got one bow I'm setting up with a 6-power scope, which will let in a lot more light. And I also have still the old standby with the 8-power scope. So it's going to be sort of get down there and see what flies.
It feels good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So how many of the Iowa ones have you been to?
Unfortunately, only 2.
What 2 have you gone to?
I went to Oskaloosa.
Then you went with us last weekend.
Yep.
Down to
Yep.
Flint River.
Yeah. This weekend, fortunately, I have a grandson graduating from McKinney High in Texas. And so, unfortunately, that's where I had to go.
Yeah. I tell you what, this year, the Iowa clubs have done phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've been to a bad shoot, and numbers have been up at every one of them.
Yep.
Exciting things. I mean, if it keeps growing like this, it's going to be,
Oh, yeah.
and it's starting to show with our guys going to the pro-ams score-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're to be contended with. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it just
Well,
the way it is.
There was over 11 of us in Foley. How many?
Yeah, I think there
Oh,
was
there's
like almost 15. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
15 of us in Foley.
I think it was only 11 in the picture, but I think there was
Yeah.
like 15 of us
So
there.
I mean, it's a pretty good following Iowa has. I mean,
Yep.
considering we can't shoot outside until March
Yeah.
or April.
That's
I mean,
where I have the advantage. I'm
yeah,
in Florida.
I mean, but yeah,
I think that's why
It's
it's got
fun.
to be more like popular down in those states. I mean, just because they can shoot year round. Like Florida, I was in Kentucky for a little bit, and they like, oh yeah, we get like 200 easy. Like that's like a small one. It's like, what do you mean it's a small one?
Yeah.
But
Well, Florida didn't have quite that many. They typically would run just under 100 per qualifier.
So, do they run 20 or 25 on theirs?
They run 215s. They run 30.
They run 30.
Yep, and they charge $10 more because of it.
So you shoot 2 days or one day?
No, one day.
They just take a
Break
lunch
for lunch.
break.
Break for
Really?
lunch. Yep.
No, really?
You shoot 15, break for lunch, and then shoot 15 more.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yep,
Mhm.
it is. It's a.
So they have 30 targets set up or just 15?
They have 30 targets set up,
Okay.
and you shoot one half, and then you shoot back half the next time. So
Do
they
they
got
s-
30 targets.
Is it a shotgun start still?
Yes, still shotgun start for both halves.
What time do they start them? 10? Or?
They start them at 9.
Okay. Hour earlier.
Well, they
Probably.
can, down there's a lighter, and and unfortunately though, there are some times that it gets pretty cool. I know one of them I had to shoot. I was wearing a sweatshirt and everything to shoot it, even in Florida.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, it's not as cold. I mean,
Well, yeah, better than the snow.
that's a long ways to go
here,
shoot
yeah.
a qualifier, but hey.
Yeah.
Might
It was
do it
fun.
sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on down. They have them just about every weekend, starting in February and early February is when they start
So
them.
do they shoot, since you're part of that club down there, do they shoot qualifiers all the way till the Classic, or do they stop because of the heat?
No, I know that right now they're still shooting because I'm being a member of it. I get their emails all the time on the results, and they're still shooting.
Really?
Yep.
Because I've talked to some of the guys from Texas. I shot with a lady from Texas. They said, come July, they
Mhm.
kind of really slow down because it just gets too
Oh yeah,
unbearably
it,
hot.
it does. I'm sure Florida's going to have similar.
Yeah.
Won't be quite as frequent, but
July up here is hot too. I mean,
Yep.
It
Oh,
just it is. I mean, but
that we do.
I guess if they get all that shooting ahead of time.
Mhm.
But
I'm used to it though. I like shooting in this warm weather.
I'm
we've
good.
been pretty fortunate. It
Yes,
hasn't
we
been
have.
hot yet.
It has not.
I mean, we've been really lucky, and
Yep.
maybe that's good. All the shoots are north now. Doesn't
Yeah.
get hot up there.
Yep. We would probably not get as lucky, end of the year in Metropolis and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think
But-
Metropolis will probably be a scorcher.
Yep. Again.
I think I'd rather have the heat than the mud.
But it could be both there.
I don't know. I mean, I don't mind the mud that much. I don't know.
Yeah, he was wading
Depends.
almost knee deep in it, so I mean, he's used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minden was wet.
And then
Yeah. I
was,
still need to wash out the inside of my boots. Need to do
Yeah.
it soon.
Oh, Jacob was telling me he told you how to roll them down and more comfortable.
Mhm.
He says you rolled them down and stepped in the hole.
Yeah, almost like I don't know, like 10 minutes. I don't know, less than that maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it is cool seeing so many people at the
Well,
shoots because it does seem like the tide is like rising. Like like Dimitri obviously is like the the big example, like shooting like insane. But even like the people chasing him now are like
Yeah.
stepping up their game a lot.
Yeah, it's fun. The competition is great.
it is
Mhm.
tight. I mean, there's some real good shooters.
I mean, the K50 class is growing. I mean, I didn't have
Yeah, how many was in this one? Because last year it was like you, Steve,
even Alex.
and Alex. Like
Now-
that was there anybody that even shot one time? Another one?
Oh, it was just us three.
Yeah, the whole year. Now there's at least been I think it was 6. Yeah, so
So
we doubled. Holy crap!
I mean, it's cool. I mean, let's talk about Steve's shoot
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
Steve, you did it was an awesome shoot.
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of numbers, good people there. It was that would have challenged some pros.
For sure.
I mean, there's still that one target in the tunnel. I arranged it. Jacob, you arrange this. He goes, what you have? I told him. He goes, there's no way it's that close, far. Because it looked, we thought it was 45. And it's 50. There's no way that's 50. I mean,
Which one was that?
I think it might have been a wolf. It was kind of in a tunnel. It was wide open. They hit a bunch of trees.
I think I know dude. I don't remember who did this last year. I think it was Jacob too. And I can't judge distance, so I'm like, it's what it says it is, but no.
oh, no.
It's got a little hill thingy, like kind of like a little
Yeah.
bump, and then there's trees right in front of you, kind of almost.
Yeah. It's like, there's no way it's that far. But it was. I mean, you don't argue with your rangefinder, but you go,
Well, yeah, you want to double check.
you hit it through. Will you please range check? 'Cause I just want to make sure this is right,
Mm-hmm.
But it was. I was like, wow, I'm glad I don't have to judge this.
Yep.
Because I would hit the log in front and look like an idiot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but like I had one of those days that I shot my bow really well, but didn't score worth a darn.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I don't know. You get then you start pushing, and you just keep going down. If you just stick with your game plan, it probably would have been better.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
I move on to the next one, and we start all over.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, we do.
but
That's
I
all you
see,
can do.
even Flint River shoot was good.
Mhm.
I mean, is that the first time you've been there, Rodger? Flint Rivers?
Yes.
Okay. Normally they're known for a shorter course, but they actually lengthened that one out quite a bit.
That's what I'd heard from a lot of people.
And the footing was the most challenging for where we stood. I mean, you were sitting on angles. It's like, whoo. And that's where I struggled the most. I shot a decent score, but I left a lot out that I should have had.
That's the problem we had in Metropolis last year, was when on the senior courses, which were just as far away from the.
Did you shoot on the road, off the road one?
Yep.
Is that the course you were on?
Yep. And so you're just as far away from civilization as you can get. They put our seniors out there, the guys with pacemakers and the knees that have to be replaced tomorrow.
Yeah, the ambulance right there on
Yeah,
the road.
Exactly. But it was because of the road, the embankment on both sides, and they had the targets on the one side where the stakes were just about halfway down the hill. So there you were, that whole 10 targets, you were standing on a side hill.
And that makes it tough.
It makes it really tough.
But you look at, here's what I tell myself, everybody's got to shoot it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I mean, I don't blame any of that stuff on anything. If I
it's
can't
part of the
do it,
game.
it's my fault.
Oh yeah, it's
Well, that's the
definitely part
nice
of the
thing
game.
about it. I mean, you shoot the same courses. Now, you may not shoot them the same day as your competition, but most part, you do shoot them same courses. Saturday, obviously, everybody's together, but
Friday,
the option Friday is, it can, although most people have shoot the option. I mean, there's a few
there isn't very many that don't.
don't anymore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty much locals.
I've always wanted them on day 2 to peer group us
Mhm.
where we're at.
That'd be interesting.
It would be, it's
If
a
everybody
good-
shot both days, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Did you know the classic they do that or no?
Oh, no, I did not know that.
So the classic they will peer group based on shoot of the year.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if they
Well,
do
that's
it on
from the
both
get-go,
days.
though. It's
Yeah,
not-
yeah.
yeah.
I think it's just I think it's both days,
It's-
but I don't know for sure.
So hopefully that you have to.
Yeah, and then
Pre-register.
you get to see what they're doing and have way more pressure.
Roland's
just-
ready though.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be fun. I'm gonna be
Oh,
pretty
I'd like to shoot with
freaking
you,
nervous.
I'll tell
but-
you.
Yeah.
Can't see what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
He shoots good.
How the hell you doing that?
Yeah. Yep.
But that's just something, a different aspect of it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and the program you shoot with 5 people.
Yeah.
I would think the last 2 shoots, not counting Steve's, but the 2 before, I had 4 in the group most of the time.
Yeah.
And I tend to shoot a little better with 4.
Well, I think we all do.
There's
No,
just a
we-
little
Yeah.
more reference,
Flint River, we had 5
which wasn't bad. It's still
because there were so many people there, which was
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all that bad. I mean, we had a couple of targets where the 12 rings were kind of crowded. But,
Yep.
yeah,
That's why it
had
matters who
fun.
gets to go first.
yeah,
Sometimes.
that's why we rotate. That's right.
Yeah. And but it's fun. I mean, you still shooting a little field then too?
Yes, as much as I can. Field, NFAA field is still my favorite. It's it goes way back into the 40s, and at one time, not very far from my hometown in Michigan, just outside of Grayling, which was bear country at that time. That's where bear was being made. The NFAA had over 3,000 outdoor NFAA for the week.
That's pretty nuts.
3,000 shooters.
3,000 shooters shooting field courses.
That's nuts.
Yeah. That was the peak. We're down now to, hope you get maybe 500, 600 people.
I didn't know it was that
And
small.
it's just because there's so many other things to do, and I think everybody's gotten the fast food mentality. You know, if I can't shoot it in an hour, I don't want to shoot it type scenario.
Well, could it be like around here you can't find a field course?
That is certainly part of it. I mean, the only field courses here that I'm aware of, Waltonian lost theirs. I'm hoping they get them back, but that storm got them 2 years ago. And
Dyersville.
Dyersville has got one. Waverly has one. I don't know how active they are anymore in the field, but I think I saw recent information from
I think they're starting to get back
into the field.
Yeah.
And
Davenport's set up.
and then
for
Davenport had. So that was the only three. And I mean, so you're traveling 2 hours of minimum to find a field course.
Yep. Which we are kind of lucky, being 4 hours away from Yankton, but
Yep.
I haven't gone up to that to shoot there. But
Yep, I've gone there the last two summers for the sectionals, and 2 years ago we had the nationals there. And so, nice place. Love the courses. They can be challenging. They're fairly flat. They have some towers, but to give you some elevation. If anybody saw some of the shooting results last year from the IFAA that they held there, they really had some ingenious ways of putting targets 20 feet in the air,
Yeah,
put them on a high-low, and
yeah.
put them up, and there you are shooting up, and they can bring it down to pull your arrows. That was somewhat, that would be challenging.
But speaking of field, though, last year, national field, what did you place again? Didn't you get like...
I come in fourth
Okay, yeah.
in nationals. That was a good one. It's out in Pennsylvania, and that's the second time I've shot there. And it's a beautiful course. They have ranges right at the foothills there. There's not really all that much up and down. There's some, but it's a fun course. I mean, if anybody gets a chance to shoot out there, I would certainly recommend it. It's a beautiful course.
Yeah. So you noticed last weekend in Flint River, all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It is, and that's what it takes. I mean, we've got to have some kids in the shooting. I ran into some issues in Arkansas. The 3D courses and stuff were set up with no kids in mind, and it was hard to find kids shooting in Arkansas at the time. There's some good programs out there. NASP is somewhat a starter. Unfortunately, it's a different enough from what you do outdoors and stuff that I don't think it carries on as much as it could.
Yeah.
But down in Florida, I know there is there's an Eastern Center, just like in Yankton. And there are a lot of JOAD and other type shoots down there. And there's a lot of kids
That's
shooting
good.
in those types of tournaments. So it's kind of fun.
It's good. It's the one thing about archery, anybody can shoot it.
Yep. Well, it's strange. You know, I keep saying, everybody asks me, so, okay, you're master senior now. Where do you go next? I said, well, we go back to youth.
I don't know if I'd want to go back because I know what those kids can shoot.
Well, that's it. There are a lot of good shooters in that young age. And it's really strange. You see a lot of them shooting targets, the target type rounds, shooting outwards of 60 yards. And as I got older, I started to like those type targets too, because you shoot a lot of arrows, but you don't have to work for it.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You don't have to stand on the side hills, and so I'm enjoying target rounds. I like target rounds now more so than I did when I was in my prime. I wanted NFAA field rounds, and the harder you can make them, the better they were.
Yeah, we asked for hard and we got it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't care.
Yeah.
I did it. Let's go back to.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it. It would have been interesting because I'm trying to play around with my setup, and so it would have been probably
It'd been pretty much the test, I think.
That
But
would have been, yeah. Now I got to wait till I get to London.
Yeah.
And that's almost too late.
now you got this.
So, we will
You
try.
can be one of the first to just set a bow up and go down there and win. It's like, yeah, I just set this up Wednesday. Yeah, I've heard that from a few people doing that before. They've done really well too. But
Well, I've done it before. Yeah. My wife always complains that, you change your string the night before. Yeah, I've done that more than once.
I've heard Roland say a few things like that before. I changed all this last night.
Yeah.
Eh.
I mean, if it ain't working, it is what it is. I mean, the
Yep.
way I always view it is like, well, it's going to be bad either way, probably. So I might as well go the way that I think might be better,
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Normally you change it for a reason. So,
Yeah.
and I have not changed some things and later looked back and wished I had.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I shoot in NFA Nationals in Blue Springs, Missouri. And first day, I was not shooting as a pro, and I shot with Mike Leiter, who is top NFA pro back then at that time outdoors. And at the end of we shot 28 targets. Well, at the end of 22 targets, I was only 4 points behind him, and the rope on my release broke.
Oh.
Oh, did that make me upset? And then it took me a day to get back on it. So I lost Tuesday trying to get my release all back together. Then Wednesday I shot the highest round I've ever shot. I shot a 52X out of 56.
That's amazing.
I had a hot day. And the guys are all looking at me and said, "Why are you on the second bail?" And I said, "Well, I had a little problem."
Yeah.
Yeah, but that, my wife reminds me of that story frequently.
Yeah. That's why I carry 2 releases now.
Mhm.
Just because if one
Oh, yeah.
breaks, I have another one. Okay.
Well,
here
Right now I have two almost identical.
yeah.
One has a pinky finger on it and the other one does not. That's the only difference in them. And they're set up to be very similar in speed.
Mine are identical, but one's a heavy metal and one isn't.
Mm. Yeah.
Which, that's the way it's going to work.
Yeah. Because one of them was supposed to be your hunting release.
Yeah.
So
One I'll use for my
worked
hunting
out.
bow. Yeah. And which I think you almost need to have 2.
Mhm.
You go to a pro-am, you don't want to break a release,
Mm.
and now you're done. No, just
Yeah.
grab the other one out of the box, and away we go.
There you go.
It's just
I have too many releases to buy 2 of all of them. So
yeah, but you have more than one
I'll
release.
just have I'll have some. It'll be very different. It might not hit the same spot, but it's just be like, whatever.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I find a lot of my releases if I go down to Springfield. They got the Archery Museum down there.
Yeah.
And I still have a bunch of them. And I shoot them from once in a while. I play around with them a little bit. But I got releases that are older than you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, talk about the one that goes around.
Mhm.
What,
Well,
what
it
do you
was
put
before
two,
the D-loop.
Do you put 2 knocking points in?
It's
I mean, or does it go below the knock? Or
see, the
Below.
D-loop didn't really make its big change until the early 2000s. Before that, everything was basically the rope was on the release and you reached underneath the arrow. So you only had to have one knock set, and that would be above. But most everybody had 2, and you put one above and one below, so it wouldn't slide or anything. And then you brought the rope right up against that, and you pull it back. The D-loop quickly caught on because of the fact that you're pulling more center on the arrow than you were with the rope. But I'll tell you what, I shot some of the best scores shooting the rope below like that.
well, you wouldn't have any peep twist.
No, it was
I mean, because you're not really pulling like when
Well,
your
you
D
wouldn't-
loop's not tied in, it'll
Well, you wouldn't have any peep twist from the D loop twisting it, but
Yeah.
you could still have peep twist in the
you
Yeah.
still
string.
get
Yeah.
You always had just almost like you do with the D-loop. You bring the rope up and you would bring it to the angle that you knew you had to have, so when you pulled it back, straight to peep out.
That's what I was gonna ask
I
you.
gotcha.
You kind of rotate it in there and then set it and
Yep.
pull it a little tension.
Yeah, you did it. You just knew how much that peep was going to twist from where it was at back then, because back then they twisted a lot more than they do today.
Yeah.
We didn't go to I've shot all types of stuff. I've shot the Dacron. When the Kevlar first came out, shot those, and it was a 2,000 arrow string. You shoot 2,000, anything below 2,000, you are at your own risk. It would break sometime very soon.
That'd be so annoying.
Oh yeah, you had to change them out frequently. Then they quickly went to close to what they have today, and now you can.
8125 or something.
It
Maybe
was
a
something like that. I
predecessor.
remember exactly. I may even have still some of it in my stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the new strings, they went away from. I mean, I shot cables. We had steel cables on our first compounds, all the way up until probably around 90. Almost all the compounds, the cable side was cables, steel cables, and PSE made one time that they wanted to make the same length string for all the bows. Well, I shoot a very short draw, 26 inch. So what they do? They shorten the pigtail up on the cable coming off of the cam, and it was so short that when you shot it, it would vibrate a lot more. Well, anybody knows anything about steel, you work hard in it in a hurry and it breaks. I still have scars where the teardrop off the top come down and hit me on top of the hand.
Yep. I've heard a lot of stories about those.
Yep. So, I mean, it was a learning experience. Called Terry Ragsdale and said, "What do I do about this?" He gave me a couple of ideas, and I stopped that problem. But it was a situation where
Yeah, like I said, you've seen them come a long ways.
I have. I've seen a lot of good shooters. There's still a lot of them out there. Unfortunately, a lot of them have retired and picked up fishing and other sports.
Yeah.
But I still love shooting. I mean, my wife likes me to get out of the house, and this is where I spend my time.
Look at your class ASA wise. What is there, 30, 40 of you guys?
Well, there was 46 at full.
Yeah.
Now, since then, it's been only in the 28 to 30-ish range. Still, it's a fair amount.
Yeah.
But you're looking at guys that are, some of them are in their 80s.
Yeah, I know.
And still shooting
and
quite
still
well.
shooting well.
Yes.
I mean,
oh, yeah. I hope to be there.
Yeah.
When I get to that age, I hope to be shooting as well as they are.
Yep.
Because it's enjoyable sport. I enjoy it. I mean, like I say, I've done it for many, many years, and I hope to do it for many more.
Because, we've talked about this before. If you took the average age of most of the guys shooting in Iowa, everybody's between 35 and 50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you look at the classes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, we're just old. Most of your shooters are older.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting the younger generation to want to shoot all the time, which
Yeah.
I think it's coming around.
Yeah.
Once the younger people start shooting, the older people start getting beat. I mean, it's just the way it is. And sometimes it doesn't work that way, but yeah, that's what makes it fun. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
so
It's you're talking about the age group like that, and I mean it's one of those things. I was very lucky in being able to maintain a very quality round for many years. I averaged 57x on a 5-spot from around 1980 up into early 2000s. And, it was, I can't do that anymore. Now I'm in the 40s, typically in the high 40s, but it takes a lot of work to keep me there.
yeah, I mean, granted, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a sport that age is probably a little less critical than some other sports,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
like golf. I mean, once those guys start hitting 40, you don't see them on the
No,
podium that often.
no.
Yeah. Which golf, ironically, is like one of the not as bad compared to
True.
you don't see. I don't know how old the oldest like NFL player is, but probably
No.
not very old.
No.
No, if you're in your 40s playing the NFL, you're a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
ain't very many linemen in their 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's hard on your body. You
Yeah.
go out there and get beat up every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to be young to maintain that.
Mm.
yeah, yeah. You'd think your guys' ranges would be a little closer, but
Yeah,
you're right.
we keep complaining, but we still end up walking. Foley did give us. Our ranges were fairly close, but they also had transportation.
So were you in the back at Foley, or were you guys straight up the hill? I don't remember.
You know where the practice range was?
Yeah.
Right across the road.
Okay, so you weren't that far then.
Uh-uh.
I was.
We were easy walking distance from where you would get onto a ride. We were a couple hundred yards. There we are.
Yeah,
I mean,
Foley was set up great this year
It was very nice. Right?
because the first year I shot Foley, where that you got on the trolley, you walked straight up the hill. That was the 45 courses.
Mhm.
Was up that hill. That's where we were. So it was a long. You hiked up there, but
Yeah.
this year we were 2 ranges down from the practice range, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
So-
we were in 50, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
But that was nice. That was. No, Foley has been the best so far. His layout and the whole thing, in my opinion, Foley was the best course so far this year.
I like Foley. It's one of my. But I've only been to Foley Metropolis. But
Mhm.
they say Minden's not
I
bad.
just realized that. Yeah.
Yeah, Minden
You've
is-
only been in a Flame
Yeah.
Minden was, other than being muddy, Minden was, was pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
we still walked a long ways, but
I didn't walk very far at all.
I know you did.
I don't know why, but yeah.
We were
Just
as
like-
far north as you could get on the first day, and as far south as you could get on the second day.
Them old people, you guys must just complain a lot. They just want to put you in the back. They
So
can't
they-
hear you.
Yeah, that's
Is
what
that what
happens
it
to
is?
us. Oh yeah. And unfortunately, there was one gentleman there that, luckily, looked like his son was there with him, and he was keeping him from slipping and sliding in those mud holes.
Oh,
Boy, but he was. I mean, to be that age and be able to shoot was great,
Mhm.
and he was enjoying it, but he was requiring a little help.
oh, yeah. We may complain about the courses and the heat,
Oh.
but we're still having fun.
Well, there's two gentlemen that shoot. I think they've shot every pro-am this year. They're in wheelchairs,
Really.
and the one guy it's all mechanical, and
I've seen that one, yeah.
and then the other one is a Caterpillar track,
Mhm.
and it's motorized, and I believe he's been to every one of them.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing
He's
that.
he's
Boy,
really
that's
good.
that just
He shoots in the known pro. He's Kevin Polish is his name, but yeah, he's like I don't remember what he ended up at the Iowa Pro Am, but I saw him shooting on the line there too, like when I was line judging. But yeah, he's like solid, like he's like really good.
But,
good.
you know, to sit down and shoot like that,
Mhm.
that's got to be tough.
Yep. Yeah, you have to have, I don't know what, like strong abdominals or what.
well, and unfortunately, I mean, you obviously when you start losing one part of your ability, the other ones take over, and he's good. I mean, it just I just can't say enough about him. I mean, it's
Yeah.
good to be able to have that type of handicap and still
Yep.
shoot and enjoy it.
The other guy, I don't know his name, but it's like he cranks it like this, and it
Yeah.
like that moves
It's got
the
a gear.
wheels.
It's a gear
Really?
arrangement.
It's super. I had never seen something like that before, but
Yep.
Huh.
it all because he'd be in a mud pit and he'd just bing bing fucking off road up it. It's like, holy, all
You
right.
do it. Yeah.
That's
Nice.
cool. Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing about this. Anybody, like I said before, anybody can do this.
Mhm.
I mean, look what I can't think of his name now, from southeast Iowa.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, you
shoots.
Well, and no arm archer.
Yeah, what's his name?
Oh, Matt Stutzman.
Matt,
yeah.
yeah. Look what he does.
hmm
I mean,
It's excellent.
that's awesome.
Yep.
You know, he could,
And a heck of a nice guy too. I mean, I've shot with him.
I'd shoot
several
with him and he'd
occasions.
wax my ass.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's no chance. Yeah, I'm not bad. Maybe I'm come close to what you're gonna do today. I'm just in awe that you're doing it.
Well, I think he's been a big inspiration to other archers that have a similar disability.
Mhm.
And I've seen several in world type competitions now that are using the same basic process that he is with the shoulder harness, the whole thing. And they seem to be doing quite well. So
Yeah.
that's good.
I follow a guy on Instagram that has one arm that shoots. He
Mhm.
shoots a mouth tab.
Yep.
And he shoots pretty good.
Is he from the U.S.?
Yeah.
I bet I know who that is, but I
Well-
can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Well, there's been a lot of them. There's been a lot. Well, there's been several here in Iowa. even.
Eric Bennett,
That could be.
probably.
But
Yeah,
there's been
one-
several
one
here,
arm
and even in
arrow
Iowa,
fighter.
that
Mhm.
use
That's his name.
the mouth tab, and over the years. So I mean, it's that seems to be, one's first venture to shoot. But to see a person with actually no arms and be able to use his foot the way he does. I mean, the first time I saw him come in and eat, I was flabbergasted. What he did, and I take for granted.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
And here he is. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the gentleman is phenomenal and a very good inspiration. So,
Very good.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure at the I don't remember if it was World Championships or Paralympics, but the guy who he was shooting against in the final said that he was inspired by him, and that was why he started shooting.
yeah,
But
I
that
wouldn't
was
know.
cool. And yeah, so there were in the gold final there were 2 people with no arms of the archery gold final, so that was kind of cool. But yeah,
That's
Yeah.
can't
So
say enough about it.
has the Olympic thing gone through?
no,
That hasn't gone
not
through
yet. I don't know when we would hear an
Or
announcement.
they
for
don't
that.
know. If,
Still, it's
I
still
know.
up in the air.
I've been seeing experts things on it. I just
For
don't know.
whatever reason, everybody just decided to start posting about it, even though that was like announced that they had applied for it like months ago. But yeah,
Yeah.
nothing has changed.
Did you see the thing on the money?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
Holy
that's
cow.
always been like that. Like certain countries will offer basically contingencies if you win a medal for the country.
Well, it's just like the countries that. I mean, the article I read, they're saying the compound archery is basically started by the U.S.
Mhm.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean,
It's where the patent started
yeah.
and everything. So,
I mean, it's
well, that's why theoretically, that's why they have not become an Olympic sport.
yep,
Is because there was not enough other countries that had the expertise
Yeah,
that the
'cause-
U.S. did.
yeah.
So that's why it's been put off.
Yeah.
Now, to say that anymore, no.
yeah. You can't really say it anymore, but yeah, that's
No.
because kind of the point of the Olympics is that it's a worldwide.
well, look how
everybody
many
comes.
countries are shooting in Vegas.
Well, that is.
But that's
I'm
it.
sure what
That's
they
it.
use
I
as
mean,
the
that's
proposal.
Yeah.
Everybody's represented. Not how can I put that? People.
But that's only been recent.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the Olympics moves very, very slowly.
Yeah.
And it's been that way. I mean, so now that, I mean, obviously I think they've got a good chance because
Mhm.
it has become more of a world sport. And so I think compounds could get in.
it sounds like
Oh.
it's probably gonna happen.
I
yeah.
mean,
Well, that's what we've been saying for the last 30 years.
Well, the guy I don't remember his name, but the president of whoever that he said like this.
Well, I
is
think
probably
there's a
gonna
good
happen.
chance. I think there's good, and of course they've said that the last couple of years, Olympics.
But they've never actually officially, I think, applied for
Applied
it or
for it.
whatever. But they've
Well,
all
that's
just
good.
been like, oh yeah.
I hope they do. There's some good shooters out there. So it'd be fun to.
it'd be fun to
See.
watch
Yeah.
That would be cool.
because they're going to shoot.
Well,
Would they shoot outdoor target? Is
no,
that what would it be?
Yeah.
it's applied for indoor.
Just indoor?
Yeah. So the reasoning is, one, it's different than what they do for recurve. 2, and the biggest reason for sure is because of Vegas, because they can apply and say, look at this.
Vegas.
This is the biggest tournament. Period.
Makes sense.
All indoor, all these different countries, and then also everybody has access to, even though technically they do 70 meter for recurve, and
Yeah.
but everybody for sure has access to 18 meters, so they applied for indoor.
Or are they going to shoot the same target?
Presumably, but I mean they could change it.
I would change it.
We'll see.
Make it an Olympic target.
I don't know.
I mean, make it completely different.
We'll just have to see. Either way, it'll be. I really hope USA Archery because that's who would be running it, like really goes all in on it and like broadcasts all of the, the qualifications for it, because that would be so hype. Because there's probably gonna be so many 600 shot if they keep the scoring the same way.
Yeah.
Well, this sort of spun out of the internet version because of the COVID. USA Archery added that 12 ring, that one little dot in the middle of the 7-8 line.
Yeah, like for
What?
Lancaster.
I thought that was only Lancaster.
Nope. That was started by USA World 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before Lancaster. It was a year before Lancaster. And they started that, and it was because of the internet. They had to have a way of breaking ties. And so that's what they ended up shooting. I could see them using that target.
Maybe. I would
Because,
like
again,
them to
that
do
gives them
something.
that little 12 ring, for shoot-offs. Whoa.
That'll change everything.
Make
That
it-
changes everything.
Yeah, I think it'd make it way better, and it'd make the competition more have more integrity. Because like if you have like the best shooters in the world, and they both shoot 150s, it feels like you got robbed if you do it closest to center shoot off.
Yeah.
So it's like at least
been
make
there.
something.
Yeah, I think
You
you
hate
ought
to
to get
lose
beat
that
by
way.
points, not.
Yeah,
not
I hate
Ideally, yeah, for sure.
But saying that, you know what the rules are coming in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is what
you
it
know,
is.
it is what it is. So you know that coming in. But it's still,
Yeah, you hate to lose by that
you're
much.
getting. It's no different than the judges judging. Oh,
Yep.
he got a 10, he got a 9. Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of the thing. Yeah. I mean, even if they put like a little pinpoint, like you just bink in the center of the target, and that's an 11 now, that's fine. Because basically you have to have a better than a half shaft arrow to hit it. So if you just barely cut the 10 line, it didn't count as much as if you're inside out. So then at least something. I don't know. Because I mean, that would just suck 150s and lose.
Well,
Yeah.
World, you're going to be down to 23s as your maximum size to begin with.
Which is
even,
better.
And then for the Olympics, they could even bring it down even further if they wanted to make
could. I don't know if they would, but they could.
it. They
'Cause-
might. I mean, why not?
Well, I don't know.
So what would they go to? Like,
Well, they could make,
I mean, any arbitrary number.
yeah, they could, bring it down to a standard shaft size, which is what, 280?
Yeah.
So they could do something like
that
that.
would change everything.
I don't know that it would.
It would certainly have a chance of doing that because right now the bigger diameter shafts you see in Vegas and stuff, almost everybody shoots the 23s at least until the shoot off, and then when they get the shoot off, some of them will drop back to small diameter arrows because it's inside out. Well, if they weren't shooting 23s to begin with, there are some arrows out there that wouldn't have counted as 10s.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things, as long as everybody's on the same page, the better shooter will keep them closer to the center. Simple as that.
We'll just have to see.
I don't know. It'd be fun either way.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It's a challenging, I mean, I love watching the shoot-offs because of that. I mean, these guys are, just machines and they're shooting. I wished I could shoot that good, and just hammering it.
I think it's getting more. The archery, I think, is getting more mainstream because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really like the. I know
Well-
the ASA shoot-offs they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean the
Well, and there's-
Minden's shoot-off was amazing
Mhm.
with the 14s being shot. I mean it's
Yeah.
wow.
Yep. Especially the Open Pro, just because
Yeah.
like usually when Levi hits a 14 on the last arrow, that's usually the arrow that wins it for him, and it didn't this time. But yeah,
Yeah, he only missed one though, didn't he?
I don't remember what he did,
I
but
think he had 110. The rest were 12.
yeah,
Or the rest were
probably
14s.
he made up
I think he
ground.
missed-
I think
Yeah,
Yeah, because
he
Levi
made it
come
count.
in what, fourth?
I don't
Yeah.
remember where
so.
he came, but yeah.
Yeah.
How many? I think it was pretty tight from the beginning, but yeah, he
Yeah,
came.
they
in
all
fourth.
were close. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was good. It was a
I
good
mean,
round.
it wasn't a bad class to watch.
Mm-mm,
from
not at
Minden.
all.
So that makes it a good. I mean, with that, I think it's helping getting more people wanting to do it.
Sure.
Anything time you have exposure to a sport or something.
Well, social media is certainly putting a lot of that stuff in front of them. So
Yeah.
people are starting to say, well, instead of just hunting, maybe I can shoot paper too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so you see some of that.
I don't know. I think it's a good stopping point.
Yeah.
We're about to end up on the camera, so
Yeah,
either
so-
way,
All right.
we either
But yeah.
press record again or
Yeah.
Well, thanks,
No.
guys.
yeah. Thanks for
Hey,
coming
thanks for being on this, Rodger.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
We'll try to get more people. I think we're going to talk to a few others. We'll get them on here with us.
Great.
But
on.
yeah, that's what we got. So next week, check the ASA page. You'll see where everybody's sitting score wise.
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't update it till Saturday night, more than likely. You
Yeah.
won't see much till then. But yeah, that's what we got. And stay tuned.
All right. Have a good one.
Later.